Welcome to another live feed on Rashad's YouTube channel. We'll be talking about Cypress Hill's first album. 35 years ago, 1991. Classic album, self-titled LP. 35 years later. Got to put 35 years later in the thumbnail, the description, that's alright. But it meant 35 years ago, this album dropped, 1991. So let's get into it. Classic album, very unique at that time. Let's get into it. Cypress Hill deals with three members of the group: Send Dog, Be Real, and DJ Muggs. This trio may have gone down as the greatest Latino hip-hop group of all time. This album was dropped in August 13th, 1991. The recording sessions took place at Image Recording Studios in Los Angeles from August 1990 till May 1991. The album was produced by DJ Muggs. This album was critically and commercially successful and received major airplay on urban and college radio. The album went double platinum, went with over 2 million units sold in the United States. This album was released on Rough House Columbia Records. Songs like The Funky Feel One, I Could Just Kill a Man, they was released on July 11th, 1991. Hand on the Pump, 1991. Latin Lingo was in 1992. It's one of the great albums ever made. According to Steve Huey of All Music, calls Cypress Hill's debut a sonic blueprint that will become one of the most widely copied in hip-hop. Also in 1998, the album was selected as one of the Source's 100 best rap albums. The album was included in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. In 2007, the album was broken down in track by track perspective by members of the Cypress Hill group from the book Check the Technique. Liner notes for hip hop junkies. Rolling Stone magazine had this album on its list of essential recordings of the 90s because it was very innovative and engaging in spite of its hardcore messages. It was ranked number 57 in Spin magazine as the 90 greatest albums of the 90s, including Q's 90 best albums of the 90s. It was great. It was a great album. I Can Just Kill a Man, that set it off. That was on the Juice soundtrack with Tupac, Omar Epps, people like that was in the movie. It was the first major hit in 91. That was the A-side. At least as a double A-side to the Funky Feel One. Great album, great song. Yep. It was different at that time, just for a group coming from LA. Then the Funky Feel One, that was the second single off the album. The top two of the songs, both songs, How Can Just Kill a Man and Funky Feel One, topped the Billboard Hot Rap Singles chart and collectively the top rap singles of 1992, taking the top spot on the Billboard year-end Hot Rap Singles of 1992. So they definitely got to a great start as a group in terms of what they were doing. Hand on the Pump, it was still successful. The song did not reach the popular singles as How Can I Just Kill a Man and The Funky Feel One, but it was still good. Yeah, they were different. They were different in their own way. Cypress Hill, the greatest Latino group ever. Talk about Latinos, doing their thing as a group. They were the best in terms of what they were doing. That first album, self-titled LP. It went double platinum. So they brought that grittiness to hip hop in a way, because at that time in the early '90s, hip hop was going like pop with MC Hammer. You had obviously Vanilla Ice. What they brought to the table was different, very different. But they was advocates for cannabis and all that, which is I don't support, but that's what they were about at that time. in terms of what they brought to the table. As very, much like a Hispanic group, many Hispanic groups were doing their thing, but not like Cypress Hill. Cypress Hill was different. They were one of the few Hispanic American hip hop groups to break through with their own stylistic impact on rap music. So that was different. They was able to cross over into the rock community. So they was able to do things differently at that time, especially as a Hispanic group. DJ Muggs had his own production style, spooky sounds, own aesthetic, bass heavy rhythms, odd sample loops. They just doing their thing, making it happen. And that's how great they were. They were definitely different from the groups that was out at that time. You talk about Cypress Hill. The album definitely was a classic album in '91. There's a lot of great albums that came out in '91. A lot of great albums. This one was one of the best. They were one of the best in terms of what they did, and that's why I want to talk about it 35 years later. They first came out in terms of what they got brought to the table. It was so different. Yep. Sin Dogs and his growl, the nasal voice of Be Real, and DJ Muggs, production. It was different. They were different. They were different. Real Estate, that was a good song as well. That was a big time record. Different. There was no guarantee they was going to cross over like that, but they definitely opened the door for Latino representation in hip hop in the early '90s. So Cypress Hill, definitely one of the greatest groups of all time, greatest Latino group of all time in terms of what they did for the Latino community. They definitely represented well in '91. Y'all be 40 plus and over to remember that album, because it definitely was no different from what was going on at that time in terms of what they were talking about, from a Latino's perspective. So they were definitely great. It had a hard edge to it. It was different. They were different as a group at that time from the groups that was out at the time. They were just different. Coming from the West Coast, they were different. They were unique. Nobody sounded like Be Real. He has that nasal rhyme flow. I'm saying that's what made them, different. How they sounded, the way they sounded, made them different. That's what made them, unique in that way. Also, you can make a case this influenced Dr. Dre's The Chronic to be made, possibly, because they talked about, a lot about marijuana and weed and all that stuff, but they were influential in that way to Dr. Dre making The Chronic. Make a case. They were aggressive, uncompromised, went double platinum. They definitely was different. So that's all I gotta say about this album from 1991. So what y'all say about that? Cypress Hill's first album. This is the instrumental from that album. little snippet from that song How Can This Kill a Man instrumental. I think the song Cypress Hill made, I think they made a single out of that. I think they made a video out of that, Little State. I like this one. Now I'll be done. Let's play the instrumental. Yeah, they made a video called Real Estate. So that's another song off the album. Let's play the instrumental before I close out. Stuff like that. No, that was just some of the stuff that came off that album. And like I said, that's it for today. I'll be back soon. Do another video at 6:30. Another hip hop review from 1991. And that'll be it. So until then, talk to you soon.